For most of human history, identity was not something you constructed. It was something you inherited. Your religion, your class, your geography, your family trade, these arrived before you were old enough to choose them, and they answered the fundamental questions of selfhood before you thought to ask. You knew who you were because you knew where you belonged. The belonging came first, the identity followed automatically. The collapse of those inherited structures over the last century has left a vacuum that is easy to underestimate. When the church empties, when the union dissolves, or when the neighborhood loses its coherence, or when the family trade becomes irrelevant, the identity scaffolding that those institutions provided doesn't disappear quietly. It leaves a need that remains urgently, insistently active. The question of who you are doesn't stop demanding an answer just because the traditional sources of that answer have dried up. Into that vacuum stepped two of the most powerful identity machines the modern world has produced: festivals and YouTube channels. A music festival is not primarily a music delivery mechanism. If it were, the album, the streaming platform, and the concert hall would have made it obsolete decades ago. What a festival delivers that no other format can is a temporary but total immersion in a community of people who share your aesthetic, your values, and your self-image. The moment you walk through a festival gate, you are surrounded by visible confirmation that people like you exist, and exist in numbers. The fashion choices, the demographic composition, the collective mood of the crowd, all of it functions as a mirror, reflecting back an amplified version of the identity you came to inhabit. Glastonbury doesn't just play music. It tells its attendees that they are the kind of people who value independence and counterculture. Afropunk or Coachella tell their attendees something different again. The lineup matters, but the crowd is the real content. You are not just watching the artists, you are watching yourself, watching the version of yourself you want to be, multiplied by 50,000 and made undeniably, viscerally real for 72 hours. YouTube channels perform the same function across a longer time scale and a wider geography. The subscriber of a particular channel is not just consuming content. They are affiliating, joining a tribe that is defined not by physical proximity, but by shared sensibility. And that affiliation is, for many people, as identity forming as any physical community they belong to. What makes YouTube channels particularly powerful as identity architecture is their specificity. A music festival can accommodate a reasonably broad audience, but a YouTube channel, by contrast, tends towards the precise. Its worldview is consistent, its aesthetic is defined, its implicit model of the ideal viewer is specific enough that subscribing to it feels like a declaration. The channels people are most loyal to are rarely the ones with the most production value or the most viral moments. They are the ones that make the viewer feel most accurately seen, most precisely reflected. The channel that seems to articulate things you had felt but never managed to say. That quality of recognition is not just satisfying, it is identity constituting. It tells you something about yourself that you didn't fully know until the channel showed it to you. Both festivals and channels generate identity signals that travel far beyond the original experience. The festival wristband, worn weeks after the event, is not nostalgia. It is a continued broadcast and a visible declaration of tribal affiliation addressed to anyone who recognizes the signal. YouTube channels generate the same signals in the digital space. The channel you mention in conversation, the videos you share, the creator whose perspective you cite as naturally as you would cite a trusted friend. All of these are identity broadcasts. They tell the people around you not just what you find interesting, but what kind of person you are, what values you hold, what community you have chosen to belong to in the vast and otherwise anonymous space of the internet. Both the festival wristband and sharing a YouTube video are at their core answers to the same ancient question, the one that the collapse of inherited identity left unanswered and that every generation since has been trying to resolve. The question is not what do you like. The question is who are you? And in the absence of the institutions that used to answer it automatically, we have built our own architectures, one in a field and one on a screen, and we are answering it ourselves, one lineup and one subscription at a time. The deepest human need is not entertainment, it is recognition, the experience of being seen, understood, and confirmed by people who share enough of your inner world that their existence feels like evidence that yours makes sense. For most of history, that recognition came from the village, the congregation, the guild, or the family you were part of. Those structures narrowed, and then many of them disappeared. And in their absence, we built new ones. Looser, more voluntary, more portable, but answering the same fundamental need with surprising effectiveness. The music festival and the YouTube channel are not replacements for community. They are the forms community takes when geography no longer determines belonging. You are what you watch. You are what you attend, not because those choices are trivial, but because in a world where identity is no longer inherited, they are among the most sovereign decisions you make. That was it, and that was also the final video of this channel. I hope you enjoyed all 52 episodes, and this has been a lot of fun. Goodbye.